When things are going poorly, how do you usually react?
I usually go into a fetal position and cry.
Okay.
Welcome to the Love and Comedy Podcast, where two stand-up comedians talk pursuing love while pursuing a career in stand-up comedy. Plot twist, your two comedian hosts happen to be married to each other. I'm one of your hosts, Aurora Singh.
And I'm your other host, Drew Schaefer, and we're the married couple. What? I don't believe it every time. And what are we talking about today?
We're talking about inner thoughts. We did an episode on inner thoughts. That was part 1. This is part 2. Last time was a more general sense of inner thoughts while we're on stage. Things that go on that people don't realize is happening.
Considerations, what the duck is doing under the water.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that metaphor. We are a podcast of metaphors.
We are. We try.
But this time we're going to talk about inner thoughts. What's going on in our minds when the crowd is super hot, meaning like they're just like really
super attractive, like because they say picture them naked, so when they're super hot you're like, oh wow, I can't perform.
Yes, and also when the crowd is hot, meaning like they're just really into your jokes, like things are going when things are going really good, and also when the crowd is meh. So let's talk about it. Let's get started.
Before we get started, let's talk about some background information, get a general baseline for who you are. So, when things are going poorly, how do you usually react?
I usually go into a fetal position and cry.
Okay. That's a response.
No, yes, I do that sometimes. It depends on what it is. Depends on how bad things are. A lot of times, I can just let it roll off my back and just decide that it doesn't matter and nothing matters.
Nothing matters. Why am I mad?
I just sometimes just accept that things don't matter. And sometimes it's like I either am at 0 or 100. I feel like I'm either at ugh, whatever, nothing matters. Like, just let it go away. Like, let it roll. And then sometimes I'm like, get him.
Everything matters. I will get you because this is the most important thing. This bagel only has cream cheese on one half of it. I'm going to crush everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it kind of depends on where I'm at in the day. What about you?
I think I'm starting to try to be more forgiving or accepting in those situations. Like, did you see the viral video of that guy who they were at a mall and the guy was interviewing somebody and somebody just walks right in front of the camera?
Yeah, I did see that.
And the guy's this guy just walked right in front of our shot. And the other guy's like, don't attribute people's incompetence or not paying attention as some sort of malicious intent.
He's like, people are just living their lives, doing their best.
Things in their heads that they're not paying attention to you or me.
Everyone's life is just as complex as yours, and usually what they're doing does not have any malicious intent towards you. I totally remember that. Yeah. We're gonna have to tag that person.
We're gonna have to, because that
was
moment,
and then the guy interviewing just goes,
damn.
Yeah,
it's so funny because it's that's so true. Like, today I was at the gym and there was a partner workout, and the person I was partnered with messed up. And my initial thought was I'm so mad, you're ruining my day. Like, how could you ruin my day? And then I paused for a second. I was like, you know what? It's their incompetence. They just didn't pay attention when they were told what to do. And they didn't mean to hurt me.
Right.
And I'm trying to do that more.
Yeah.
Because
it's a good practice to have.
It was, I was just like, okay, can I be mad? Like, how can I express this in a healthy way? And I was like, you know what? Make it less severe by realizing it wasn't done on purpose.
And then did you tell her what the fuck was up?
No. Even the coach came by and he was like, oh, what happened here? Because he was looking, it was a partner thing where the meters on a rower would go up. And he's like, oh, you guys are pretty low. And I was like, oh, she accidentally reset it. I gave her the accidental. I didn't say this bitch.
Yeah,
I didn't get all angry. I was just like, she accidentally did it. And then I saw.
Did she hear?
I don't think so, but then he talked to her on the next row and told her not to reset it. So,
yeah,
I mean he was a good coach. He had my back.
It's one of those things. Yeah, you just have to. I do try and practice mindfulness, but it's just sometimes it's those days where you're just I don't have the patience for it today. And then your belt loop gets caught on the door and you're like, I'm just going to blow this place up.
You drop the keys as you're trying to put them in the...
Yeah, I'm good. Yep. I'm good. But most of the time, I'm going to say like 98.7% of the time, I'm like pretty solid and can just be like, you know what, whatever. Yeah. It is what it is. And life is lifing right now. And that's it, you know?
Yeah. And I think both of us have the ability to try to make it kind of funny. Like, I get kind of sassy when I get angry. Like, especially my road rage is like...
I think for me, it's like a disrespect thing. If I feel disrespected, that's when I get to 100. When I feel disrespected and or not heard,
What?
But I do feel like when I catch myself getting to 100, like, because I go from 0 to 100 pretty quick. I feel like when I catch myself getting to 100, I'm like learning how to like catch myself, not just like recognize that it's happening, but then also change direction and go, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, why are we doing this? Okay, because you're trying to get heard and someone's not hearing you, you know, and then I'm like, but it's still, you know, I'm not perfect.
No, none of us are. Yeah.
So, you know, we're trying. But yeah, when bad things are happening, learning to take deep breaths.
Yeah. I just try to make it the funniest situation I can. Like, my road rage is like, what's the funniest joke I can make about their incompetence as a driver? Like, there was like a guy in a like truck that cut me off without using a turn signal. I was like, oh, I guess there's 2 knobs in that truck that don't work right anymore.
Okay, well,
like, stuff
I guess
like that.
You're roasting the drivers, and I'm looking at bad drivers trying to be empathetic.
No, no empathy.
All right.
If you're piloting a death machine and you're not being a good driver, no, you're getting my sassy road rage. For the love section today, let's start with the positive. What are some things that you do when things are going well in the relationship? What are some thoughts you have? What are some things you actually physically or mentally do when things are going well?
When things are going physically well in a relationship?
No, I'm saying, like, what do you do
what
physically?
Do I do
like
physically?
Yeah, do you like clean? Do you cook? Do you cuddle? Do you like what do you do with your body, and what do you do mentally?
When things are going good in a relationship, I have no idea how to answer that. How do you answer that?
I mean, to me, I think when things are going well, it's like, okay, I'm feeling good. Let's like plan a fun little spontaneous date night. Like, it's sort of like when the
You don't do that when things are going bad?
I don't know. It's harder. Like, in those moments, it's like, I don't think of a spontaneous date night. But when it's going well, it's like a party that's going really well. And you're like, let's go somewhere else after this. Like, you get that energy that's like rolling downhill, like, or I guess uphill. I don't know. But like going well, and you're like, yeah, let's keep this party going. Like, that's sort of how I feel when like things are going great. I'm like, oh my God, we gotta.
So what do you do when things are going bad?
I don't know. I think
you just give up.
Yeah.
You just leave.
Just clam up. I think that's when we sort of like have to like pump the brakes on the fun and go, hey, what's going on? Like, let's talk.
Ugh,
things aren't going well. What's going on?
That's so weird that we just don't agree on that at all.
What do you do? What do you think?
I mean, when things are going good, things are going good. You just kind of roll with it. But when things are going bad, I don't like to pump the brakes on fun. I'm like, why don't we just have some fun?
I mean, yeah. If you can think of it, yeah.
If I can think of it. I mean, when things are going bad, then yeah, obviously you have to like talk about it and communicate. But when things are just like kind of boring and just you're frustrated, you should probably just like take a step back and have some fun.
Oh, I was talking like bad. Like, we just got in a fight and you're like, yeah, spontaneous date night. I'm like, no. You want to see us argue at a paint and sip night? Like,
oh my God, paint and sip would be so fun.
It would be so fun. Are we in a good spot where we can go do that right now?
Are we?
No, it's too late. It's too late in the night. We are in a good spot, but
just the time of night.
Picasso and Pinot or whatever. Picasso and Pinot.
Okay, I guess that's a good way to answer. I had no idea how to answer that. I felt like I was put on the spot. I guess, yeah, when things are good, then yeah, they're just good. You just kind of like roll with it. Yeah, that's my answer.
Okay.
You roll with it.
Roll with it.
And when things are bad, then you just leave forever.
Yeah, I mean, that's what our parents did, so.
Oh, that is. Oh my God.
Too real.
What are some things that we do for fun when things are good?
I think we play a lot of fun board games.
You know what I think we do too?
What?
Is we get real productive.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what I meant. Like,
yeah, I
there's
feel
things
like
we
when
do.
things are, maybe that's what I do. When things are good, I like feel like that part of my life is handled, so then I can focus on maybe other things in my life that have been kind of put on hold, maybe like putting laundry away or like editing videos or sending an email.
oh,
Because
you need the emotional,
Yeah,
like, you need to be in a good spot for it.
yeah, because sending an email takes a lot of energy sometimes, and if my mind isn't right, then I like can't do it.
Yeah.
So if things are good, then yeah, I just feel like we're more productive. Sometimes we like sit down and talk about our week, you know,
Yeah.
and schedules and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess that's what we do.
I think, yeah, that is an interesting perspective on it, because it's like the way you said it. If you're happy and positive
And you
about
know
where we're
it,
at.
clap your hands.
But like once you have that need fulfilled, it's like, oh, it's so much easier to do the other things, like that, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like if you're feeling safe and comfortable at home, it's like, oh, now I can take care of the email I need to send to a booker or the video I want to edit or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's nothing else weighing on your mind.
Yeah. And when things are bad, it's like, oh man, like I can't just in the middle of, you know, a misunderstanding or whatever, just go play a game or go play on my computer. It's like, no, like
Yeah.
you have a need that you need to work on.
Yeah. Okay. I like it.
Me too.
It's comedy time. We're going to talk about comedy now. And our inner thoughts when we're on stage.
Yes.
And we have two different questions. Question 1 is what? Oh, there's Lucy, girl. Lucy's
joining
coming
us in the studio.
Joining us in the studio, special guest, Lucy the dog. Two questions that we have today for comedy are, one is, well, they're both inner thought questions. And what is going on in your mind when the audience is hot, like super, super attractive, sexy? No, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I've never had that in Sacramento or Reno.
You just lost so many fans.
Boom.
Take it back.
I take it back. Every
Okay.
crowd I've ever performed for is sexy,
Super sexy.
people.
But what are your inner thoughts when the crowd is like hot on fire, laughing, jokes are hitting, they're clapping, they're loud, they're not heckling, they're just like into the show? And what are your thoughts when the audience is like just dead?
Yeah.
Just like staring at you like they're waiting at the DMV.
Which we've had shows like that.
Oh God, we have.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah, I think when the crowd is hot, and it's the reason why we both as hosts are like, hey, you guys need to have fun. The energy you give, we give right back. Like,
Yeah, I always say that as a host. I
Always.
always say, and remember, guys, the what do I say? Hold on, let me think of me being on stage.
Yep.
Welcome to the show. Oh,
welcome
and
to the show,
keep that
bitches.
energy up, because remember, the more energy you give us, the better the show you get, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's true. Like, as a comedian, obviously you have your jokes. And the audience is part of the equation, like how well the set's going to go. So when the crowd's really hot, I think most comedians loosen up a lot, which the audience then feeds into, like, oh, they're loose, they're having fun, we're having fun. And then it like opens up this like part of my imagination, or I don't know what. Oh, there's Lucy. Yay. But it like, the sets where the crowd is having fun are when I go off script, when I try new tags and new ideas. Like, I'll tell a joke, and if they really love it, I'm like, okay, let's talk about this more, and maybe I'll dive deeper and say something I never thought of before.
But what's going on in your head when all that's happening?
I mean,
inner thoughts.
Yeah, the inner thought is just like, this is fun. I'm confident. I know what I'm doing. I'm so excited to be here. I can do no wrong is sort of how I feel. Like in my head, I'm like, I can say all the jokes I've thought of, any new ideas I've had today. I can say it all. And this crowd is on board to have some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you for when it's going well?
For when it's going well, I am so sorry I'm yawning. That is so disrespectful.
Yeah. Just like when it's going well. Every
God,
time,
I'm
you mean?
so
Every
bored.
time?
Yeah, like, can I miss? Like, can I miss? No, when the crowd is like hot and they're just like laughing and just enjoying the show, my inner thought is, I'm just like loving it. I'm just like soaking it in. I'm just thinking about rolling. I'm just thinking about the next joke. I'm excited about the next punchline.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally standing there and I'm telling these jokes and they're just hitting. The joke hits. Everyone's clapping. Sometimes if it's a super hot crowd, people will just start clapping and laughing in places I didn't expect them to or set them up for. And then I'll be like, oh, if you liked that, just wait, what? Here it is. Ready? 1, 2, hit it. And then they just lose their mind and I'm like, gotcha. I just like, am so like, I just like to set up the next joke. I'm like excited for the next thing. And then I also do the thing where I'm like, trying to think of what can I do to try something new or try a different tag because this crowd is like receiving of it and they're obviously wanting me to like do well. So it's just a good feeling.
It is.
You know, like and my thought during that is just like, don't fuck this up. Don't mess this up, Aurora. They're such a good audience. Like, I want to give them the time of their lives. People that come to shows that end up being good crowds like that are just laughing and having fun. I also am thinking while I'm on stage, I'm like, God, I want to give you guys the best show. Like, you guys get it.
Is there a part of you that's also kind of scared you're going to fuck it up? Like, mess up? Like, I'm going to be the comedian that, like, puts a wet blanket on this party.
I don't think I am capable of that.
I don't think we are either at this
I think
point.
I'm too, like, without sounding cocky, I think I'm too likable. And when a crowd is, like, really hot, I don't do or say anything that's, like, super controversial or, like, something that would completely turn them off. Mm-hmm. And if anything, when the crowd is, like, super hot, I feel like I'm really good at hyping them up even more. Like if they're like hyped up, I'm like, oh, you guys are gonna love this next joke because I talk about people who wronged me, and they're like, boo,
we're on your side.
Yeah, like I did a show at San Francisco Punchline. I don't remember what show it was, but I have a clip on it on my TikTok that actually got like 41,000 views.
Nice.
But I was doing this joke, like this bit about my exes and how they all like dumped me and cheated on me. And there's these two guys in the front, two straight white guys, and they're sitting in the front. And I mean, the whole crowd is like, it was like one of the hottest crowds I'd ever performed in. They loved every single word that I said. And I was telling them about my exes. And when I said the first one cheated on me, the whole crowd started to boo. They were pissed. They were like, how dare those guys do that to you? You know, you're a queen. You don't deserve that. And these two straight white guys in the front were like leading the charge.
Hell yeah.
They were just like, I was like, are you guys here together? Like, are you guys dating? They're like, no, we're just here for comedy. And I was like, you guys are straight white men sitting in the front row, like front and center.
Yeah.
And they just, every word I said, they were like, fuck that guy. I hate him. Ew, boo. And I was like, whoa, what is happening? And yeah, so I don't think I can put a wet blanket on the night. I don't think I think I'm just really good at hyping people up.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think you are too.
Yeah, I think
you can't really. I don't think anything you say would ever put a wet blanket on the night.
I think early on in comedy, maybe we had sets where it's like everybody else is having a great set and maybe we're not as strong. But now I feel like we're so consistent. We know how to ride the wave and like.
Yeah, we surf.
We surf.
We surf now.
We surf. That wasn't surfing.
Rolling with the homies. You know that song, right?
No. It sounds familiar, but I don't know for sure.
We grew up in different worlds.
Yeah.
We grew up in different worlds.
Is that like the song, I Got Friends in Low Places?
No.
Rolling with the homies? I got friends in low places?
No.
It sounds like the same thing.
It's not.
Okay.
So what do you do so what are you thinking when the crowd is like poo poo caca and they have already sat on a wet blanket?
Yeah,
they came in with a wet blanket on their night.
They've just not. Yeah, they came to the show.
Describe it. Just describe it for the listeners. Just get real.
Yeah.
Describe this terrible audience.
Your whole life, you've been working hard to be a funny person, and you walk into a room where the people have never laughed before.
In their entire lives.
The village that didn't laugh.
Yeah, like they never learned to laugh.
Like they just They don't know how to like look at each other and enjoy each other's presence. They're nervous for some reason.
So
they're
you
scared.
just like imagine, and also, like, let's say not only have they never learned to laugh, but they also just got put on timeout.
Yeah.
So
like,
they just got reprimanded.
Something happened in their life that has them so pissed off, so upset.
And all you want to do is spread sparkle and joy from the stage.
Yep.
And this crowd is just sitting there cross-armed and asleep.
Yep. They are not here for you. They are not here to have a good time.
So what are you thinking during that?
In those moments, I will admit I get a little nervous. The stutter comes out a lot more. I get really tongue-tied. I start forgetting the exact order of jokes, or I forget tags, and like...
You still do that now?
Still. Yeah. It's just like, for me, I thrive and I sort of like match energy, and it's hard for me as a really high energy comedian to walk out to a crowd with no energy and get them to meet me at my level. So it's like this like tough balance of like, okay, I'm going to do a couple tester jokes up front, see if you're able to reach and match my energy, and if not, it's going to be a rough show.
Okay, let's talk about the tester jokes.
Yeah.
Because I do the same thing. And I also, like, there was a show that we did, I won't say where, but there's a show that we did in Sacramento. And the crowd was poo-poo caca.
Yeah.
I feel like you know which show.
I feel like, yeah.
It's at a popular venue.
Yeah.
And afterwards we were talking about it, you and I and a couple other comedians, and they were like, oh yeah, your energy was a little bit lower, like, but to both of us, and we're like, yeah, because you can't come out to a quiet room. It would be like, remember back in the day, kickbacks? Remember
I didn't ever go. I didn't get invited.
Drew was never invited to kickbacks.
I didn't even know there were parties. I didn't know there was
if you had any friends back in the early 2000s.
No, I did not. I apparently did not.
If you had any friends in the early 2000s, you were probably invited to a kickback, which was just like, you just hang out at someone's house, listen to music, and probably drink a little bit, play some games.
Sounds
whatever.
fun. Never went, but sounds fun.
And also, I don't know why I said play games. Kickbacks were usually some dirty ass couch in some dirty ass house with college kids where they underage drank and made out and dry humped each other. That was a kickback. But it would be so weird if you showed up to a kickback with like a boom box on your shoulder, blasting music and being like, Liz wants to take shots.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like too much for the space. So you can't come out super hot. But then you do tester jokes.
Yeah. And those are your jokes that work with every crowd.
Yeah, 100% of the time they hit, no matter where you are, what you're doing, what demographic you're in front of, they work 100% of the time.
Yeah. And so you try a couple of those up front just to see what their maximum volume's going to be or what their energy is. And for me, so there's like my opening...
They're like the knock jokes of comedy. They're like, they work they're like slapstick. Like, they're like, it's not low hanging fruit, but you just know. It's
accessible. It's not a long setup. It's pretty much like a strong punchline with a quick setup. And it's something, for me, I have like the tester jokes are, here's just a plain tester joke to see if you're on my side right away. Here's my tester joke to see if you're a little dirty. And here's my tester joke to see if you're silly. And so that way I know, like, where's my energy going to go? Oh, they laughed on silly but not dirty? Okay, I'm going to spend more time silly. But if a crowd doesn't go for any of those three, it's like...
That's you, boo.
That's you. At this point, like, I've given you 3 options.
Yeah.
And you've said you don't want to eat at any of them. Like, you're not going to eat tonight. You're not going to get dinner. I said Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and McDonald's. So there's 3 different options. And you're like, nope.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we get sponsored by one of those 3.
Oh my God, could you imagine? And yeah, in 99% of the time, it is not the audience fault.
Yeah.
99% of the time, it is the comedian.
Yeah.
Like, let's be fair. It is our job to entertain them and find what's going to work for them.
Yeah.
But if you have your testers and you know that they work and they're not working and the crowd is just caca poo poo.
Yeah.
Sorry, babe. You're the 1%. This is all you. If you have a showcase of 5 different fire comedians and they all go up and they're doing their thing and they're funny and they're doing their best joke and the crowd, come on.
Yeah.
That's the crowd.
That's the
also thing. What you just said too is important to note. that you'll go up there and you'll do your testers. And if a joke is like a silly joke and they like it and they don't like the dirty, then you'll do more silly. That is different than pandering.
Yeah.
Which new comedians don't understand yet.
Yeah.
They think that like you leaning more into the silly in that moment is pandering. That is not pandering at all. No.
Pandering is if you compromise your opinions, your values, your comedy
your
to meet them, your voice. But adjusting is a professional move based on experience. Like, I have 100 jokes and 50 of them are dirty, 50 of them are silly. Tonight, I'm just going to dig into the voice of me that is silly.
Right.
And it's still me. It's still my jokes. It's still my sense of humor. It's just a toned down version or a amped up version, wherever they're at.
So what, like when you're on stage though, and this is happening, obviously we know like your method now, but what are your inner thoughts during all this?
Yeah, it's really just sort of like, I'll tell the joke, and if they don't laugh, I do get nervous. So I start thinking like, okay, what can I do? I need to do something. So I start like sort of reeling in my head like, oh my God, okay, they didn't laugh at my overbite joke. Why? What's wrong with them? So I start trying to find ways to get in with them. So in my head, I'm like, okay, like look around the room. That guy's laughing kind of. Okay, we'll try to go his way. And so like in my head, I'm trying to find some way to get in with the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't always work. And there's some shows where like sometimes it's just you and you just don't mesh with that crowd and everybody else does. And that's usually your fault. But also, we're not for everybody. But like I've done shows where like even the headliner struggles the entire time and they're like professional touring headliners. I'm like, this is 100% the crowd. If the headliner they paid to see can't even get them to laugh.
Yeah. Then those people are fans of them from something else and don't understand comedy probably.
Yeah. It's so weird.
Yeah.
How about you?
My inner thoughts when the crowd is caca poo poo.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there's a couple of things that go through my mind. Well, first off, I also do tester jokes. So if I'm testing them out and I determine, oh, you're the 1%.
Yeah.
Got it. Because what we are talking about here is the 1%,
Yep.
right? We're not talking about like, oh, I had a bad night. Like, no, we're talking about the 1% of audiences that it's your fault. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't gaslight me. This is you.
You
okay?
have made these comedians even extra doubt themselves.
Yeah. So that's the inner thought. And the inner thought for me, though, is I am not doubting myself.
Okay.
Like if I do my tester and the audience is like, boo, which I've only been booed off stage one time.
Yeah.
But if I ever do that and the crowd is caca-poo-poo, I'm like, oh, guess I have nothing to lose. That's my inner thought. Like if I say a joke and the crowd doesn't respond, I'm thinking, well, that really sucks for you guys that you like aren't giving yourself the full experience of a comedy show. Because you're getting really good stand-up right now from me and from the other comedians, and you're missing out on a fun opportunity, and I feel really bad for them. And I do not get nervous. If anything, I get more comfortable. I think I get more nervous when the audience is like popping off because I'm like, oh, gotta keep this rolling, don't bring it down.
Yeah.
Don't flip the switch. But when it's a bad crowd, I'm like, God, there is nowhere else to go but up. Like it can't get worse than silence.
Yeah.
I mean, booing and throwing things at you is pretty bad.
But yeah, the silence is
but like I'm like
brutal.
I literally am like, oh, okay, got it. You guys hate this. You hate me. You hate being here. And just like when someone is mean to you in real life, like on one-on-one, probably has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with what's going on in their life and in their mind.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, if it's that 1% of audiences, I'm like, all right. The other comics are gonna see it too. Like no one's gonna stand there and judge me. And you know what's crazy is after those 1% audiences, people from the audience will come up and be like, "Oh my God, I loved you so much. I just was afraid to laugh because no one else was laughing." Yeah. So it's like you're still going to make fans even if they're not having the best experience. Yep. And comedians are still going to be like, dude, you did good and that audience just was not giving you what you deserved. I've said that to comedians before and I've had comedians say that to me before. Like, we're not stupid. We know the business and we know audiences. So I feel my inner thought, I'll tell a joke. And then I'll just be like, damn, are you guys, I usually say it out loud. It's like an inner thought that comes out and I'm like, damn, are you guys okay?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
And then sometimes I might talk to them and be like, are you good? What was your day like? Like, is everyone fine? Did you guys think this was the DMV? What's happening? Like, I am like so concerned for them and I feel so bad.
One of my tester jokes, if they don't laugh, I'm like, that's my favorite joke. So if you're not on board, like, we're not friends right now.
And then I tell them like, hey, I mean, I don't tell them. I guess my inner thought is like, I still got like 10 more minutes. So this is going to be a long time for all of us. Another inner thought that I have when audiences are caca poo poo is I still pause for laughter.
Yeah, right, on the podcast. Oh, no, in your set?
No, in my set.
Oh, I thought you meant right now. I was like, nobody's laughing at our podcast.
No, in my set.
In your set, you'll still pause?
My inner thought is like, I take a beat. I don't care. Have
you found sometimes that's what gets them? Like, that's what cracks them?
Sometimes, because I also feel like if I was sitting in an audience watching a comedian who is really funny, but the crowd is bad, because when the crowd is bad, there are still people sitting in the crowd who aren't bad audience members, but are discouraged because everyone around them sucks. It's like
when you're watching like a Netflix special by yourself, it's hard to laugh out loud. And it's the same thing when you're in an audience surrounded by people not laughing. You're like, people are going to look at me weird.
Yeah, exactly. So there are still people in the audience who are enjoying themselves, but they're just like, fuck, what we came with a bad group of people. Yeah. Like, this is just a bad audience that we got sat with. So I still perform and play to those people. Yeah. So I still will say a joke and let it bomb. And then just sit in the silence, because if I was that good audience member in a bad audience, I would watch that and be like, damn, they are confident.
Yep.
Like, they're having fun. They don't give a shit that no one's laughing. Yep. They're telling a funny joke. I recognize it. I think it's hilarious. And they're just like, all right. Like, I can't tell you how many times I have done that. And I've literally paused for laughter, gotten a couple chuckles, and then shrugged my shoulders and went, all right, and then just moved on to the next joke, and then that makes people laugh because they're like, yeah, why the fuck didn't we laugh at that?
Yeah.
And that was funny.
I think in those moments you also have to address it, because young comics
address it. I just go, all right. I literally shrug my shoulders. I go, all right, and then I keep moving.
Even that's like addressing it. Like I should say acknowledging, more than addressing, acknowledge it, because we've all seen young comics, especially, they'll just like plow through their set when it's going poorly, and everybody's watching like, do you not know nobody's laughing? And you're like concerned, like they're not hearing the reaction. But when somebody like tells a joke and looks around and notices that nobody's laughing, it's like, okay, they're more relaxed, they know what's happening around them, we're all on the same page.
They're like more self-aware.
Yeah. And that like goes a long way with an audience when they're like, oh, they're aware that they're not doing well right now, or that the crowd sucks. Yeah. It's so much nicer. Yeah. Crowds love it.
It's such a weird feeling. When audiences are doing great, it's so, my inner thoughts are just, don't mess it up. When they're doing bad, I'm like, all right, nothing matters. Let's just keep going. I honestly, it's weird though. I even think about on stage when the crowd is not doing well, I like sweat less. Is that weird?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I literally calm down.
I sweat so much, and my mouth gets dry. I get all the telltale signs of like, I'm going to throw up or run away, like fight or flight, full force.
No, I just like, it's just so freeing to be like, there's nowhere else to go but up. I don't know why.
That's a really optimistic way to look at it.
I guess so. I didn't think that my inner thoughts were like that, but here we are.
Apparently so.
Thank you guys so much for listening. That is the end of our episode. We just want to remind you that we only have a couple more episodes after this to wrap up season 1 of the Love and Comedy podcast. We're going to take some time off to revamp, reorganize. We're going to schedule a lot more comedians on to help us answer your questions.
Yeah.
Please follow me. I'm one of your hosts, Aurora Singh, at Aurora Singh Comedy, and follow the podcast at The Love and Comedy Podcast. We release episodes every Thursday. Please like, follow, share, subscribe, comment, rate, what else can they do?
Yeah.
I think I said all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put QR codes of it on bathroom stalls across America.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Whatever you want to do, whatever moves you, we want it. And I'm your other host at Drew Schaefer Comedy is where you can find me. And thank you guys so much for listening to our inner thoughts.
Inner thoughts when the crowd is good and bad.
Yeah. We appreciate you, and we'll see you guys next time.
Love you.
Comedy.
Love you.